Disturbing details emerge on the woman Christine Ford reportedly coached on polygraph examinations. The woman that Christine Blasey Ford is accused of reportedly coaching to prepare to take a polygraph, which would mean she perjured herself under oath when she said she's never coached or helped anyone, has a very interesting past. She's worked for the DOJ and interviewed for the FBI, and is now a DC consultant with ties to creepy porn lawyer Michael Avenatti. On Tuesday night, the chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee sent Christine Ford a letter asking her to turn over material evidence relating to her charges against Brett Kavanaugh. The letter also made a fresh allegation about Christine Ford. Chuck Grassley, the chair of the committee, said that the senators had heard testimony from an ex-boyfriend of Ford's who claimed he had seen Ford coach someone on how to take a polygraph test. Grassley said that, if that's true, it might mean that Christine Ford's own polygraph test is unreliable. Later on Tuesday, Fox News obtained the testimony that Ford's ex-boyfriend gave to the Senate. His statement said that Ford had used her experience in psychology to coach her lifelong best friend, a woman named Monica McClain, on how to take a polygraph exam. Here's what you need to know about Monica McClain. 1. She went to Holton Arms, the same high school as Ford. On September 17, a group of women from Christine Ford's alma mater sent a letter to Congress to express their support for Ford and their opposition to Kavanaugh. The 17 women who signed the letter were all from Ford's graduating class. They had all known her well. Monica McClain is one of the 17 women who signed the letter. You can read the full text of the letter here. In part, the letter reads, "We, of the Holton Arms class of 1984, are writing on behalf of our friend and classmate, Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, to attest to her honesty, integrity, and intelligence, and to contend that her decision to provide information pertaining to a sexual assault is not a partisan act. It is an act of civic duty, and the experience she described in her letter needs to be seriously considered. We represent all political parties and we support Christine bringing this matter forward." 2. Ford allegedly coached McClain while she was interviewing for jobs with the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office. Ford's ex-boyfriend, whose name has not been made public yet, told the Senate Judiciary Committee that he saw Ford coaching McClain on how to take a polygraph. He said McClain was getting ready to interview for jobs with the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office, the kinds of jobs that require people to take a polygraph test. Like many people, McClain was apparently nervous about taking that kind of test. Ford's ex-boyfriend says that Ford used her background in psychology to help prepare her friend. The ex-boyfriend's statement said, "During some of the time we were dating, Dr. Ford lived with Monica McClain, who I understood to be her lifelong best friend. During that time, it was my understa." 3. McClain worked for the Department of Justice for 24 years, leaving just before Trump took office. Monica McClain, who Ford allegedly helped coach for a polygraph, signed a letter of support for Ford. McClain spent 24 years working for the Department of Justice. It's not clear what, precisely, her job was. What's clear is that after 24 years of working for the Department of Justice, McClain left her job quite suddenly in 2016, just when President Trump was taking office. McClain apparently is an old friend of Christine Ford's. One of Ford's ex-boyfriends has said that Ford helped to prepare McClain to take a polygraph exam, back in the 90s when McClain was trying to get a job working for the federal government. 4. A man named Gerald Sosby says McClain helped the FBI in a bizarre cover-up. FBI whistleblower Gerald Sosby gives voice to the thousands of targeted Americans who are hounded by an abusive legal process and harassive entrapment set up by corrupt intel agencies and corrupt law enforcement. What would you do if? McClain's name is featured on some shadowy websites run by a man named Gerald Sosby. Sosby says that he is a former FBI agent who started working for the agency in the late 1970s. He claims that he was later investigated by the FBI and the CIA. His sites also make dark and incoherent references to death squads. He says that McClain helped the FBI to cover up the alleged investigation against him. You can read some of his claims as well as a declaration which he says was made by Monica McClain here. The declaration is dated June 2000. It's difficult to know the truth of this matter, since it seems that only Sosby has written about the case. 5. McClain now works as an independent consultant in Washington, D.C. McClain stepped down from the Department of Justice in 2016. In 2017, she went to work as an independent consultant. She is based in Washington, D.C.